Pete Hadgis, Sales Manager and Vice President.
Rick Weinstein, Vice President and Director.
Sean Langen, Vice President and Director. I'd say the uptick in growth, we're seeing it both nationally and on a local level. I think the size of stores are probably shrinking a little bit. Not as many big boxes are opening. I think with the ability to be able to buy online, the retailers that are really thriving are the ones that aren't afraid of the online presence. They're thriving as a result of creating an environment and an experience for the consumer that is something you're not going to get online. So those are the retailers that are starting to come on board. Those are the ones that are causing customers to get up out of their seats and come into retail establishments. So.
We are seeing, and this is nationally as well as locally, that some of the larger big box stores are actually coming back and going into smaller spaces. So it may be the same store, but it's going to be a new version of it that is a little bit smaller.
From what we're seeing on a restaurant basis is, there's been restaurants for sale, and that came post-pandemic, and a lot of it is, a lot of the restaurant, especially on the local level, the restaurant owners they're getting older. The workforce is becoming smaller, and so that puts the ownership into working a lot more than they expected to this far into the career. So they're getting to the point where they want to retire, and so those restaurants have come up for sale, and surprisingly, they sell pretty quick, and or if it's a rental space, they're renting pretty quick. A lot of the tenants or buyers, they're looking for second generation restaurants because the equipment for most part is there. The misconception is some of that, they think it's going to be included at no charge, but there is a negotiation on the side for that type of property.
There always is negotiation particularly in leased space, in what a tenant may be looking for the landlord to do to the space, tenant improvements. And those negotiations are sometimes perhaps a little more challenging today than in the past. But it's all part of the game. There are some things that you might expect would happen automatically that don't necessarily. You just have to negotiate it. You have to be a little bit nimble in being willing to get in there and do that.
Well, I think as we look at price points on retail, new construction, we're seeing anywhere from $27 a square foot and up. And then if you kind of break down the retail sector of strip centers, anywhere from $1,200 to $5,000, we're seeing typically around $14 to $18 a square foot. Break that up and get a little bit bigger from the $5,000 to $10,000 range, we're anywhere from $12 to $18 a square foot. And then when you look at your big box where we have 10,000 square feet and up, we're anywhere from $8 to $16 depending on the deal. Break that down a little bit further, and as we look at restaurants, which Sean touched on a little bit earlier, typically anywhere from $14 to $18 per square foot on restaurant deals. And then as we look at our downtown market, that's staying anywhere from $8 to $12 a square foot.
There are always exceptions, and what happens on top of that would be build out that needs to be negotiated. So that tends to be the base rents that you're talking about, and you just have to work it all the way through.
Growth areas in the market, TBK out there at the Plex continues to be a very heavily growing area with a lot of new exciting retailers and experiences. The Elmore corridor continues to be a pretty solid corridor with growth happening there, and so those would probably be in my opinion, the two heaviest.
It's also nice to see some development down in the downtown Davenport area as well, including restaurants such as the Garrison, and then of course the Last Picture House.
Downtown Rock Island is doing a major investment in their street fronts areas, and that'll be exciting, and we're quite certain we'll draw some retailers down to that area as well. The other thing that's happening are some repurposing of properties. So if you look at Duck Creek Plaza, for example, what used to be Schnucks at Marshall's is now Malibu Jack's, which is a major family entertainment center. And that's open now, and that's pretty exciting. So we're watching that. And the malls are working on trying to figure out what to do with some of their larger spaces, and there are changes coming on that as well. So some good things happening.
As you're out and about, you'll see that post-pandemic, parking lots, both retail and restaurants, are getting more full, and people are getting out and enjoying the experience. So it's an exciting time. We want to thank Edison's for allowing us to be here.